not actually going to LA, so you're not going to get your eyes on that chaos.
Riotous chaos.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
That riotous chaos, which seems
all too evocative of summer of 2020 in Portland. From a distance, that's what it looks like.
It looks like that, and there's an awful lot of circumstantial stuff too. Indications of organizations fueling violence, maybe luring the administration into a battle. The administration seems to have an itchy trigger finger. Anyway, it's
gone are the days when activism was grassroots.
Yeah, this is definitely not grassroots, and it's very frightening.
I mean, that we got to stop. But I mean, that does seem to be one of the themes of so much of the chaos of the last several years. Beginning with regard to at least my understanding of it, what happened to us at Evergreen. That was not confused college students who showed up at your classroom. Like, yes, at one level it was confused college students, but they had literally been sent there by people with different ideas about what was wrong with you and science and, the things that were happening at Evergreen. And they weren't there under their own power. And so, some number of the people there presumably really, thought to join it because it sounded like a good idea. And some number of the people, a lot of the people probably in the daytime protests in Portland in the summer of 2020 thought that it was important to be there and they were good and honorable people. And even some of the people, once night fell and they became riots reliably for 100 straight nights in Portland in the summer of 2020, even some of them probably actually thought that they were what they were. But there were forces above and beyond them that were goading them into action in all cases.
Well, I wonder, this feels like it has to be a repeat of something we've talked about many times, but I can't actually remember that we've said it this way. I'm looking for the right word. There's a segment of society which, for reasons both real and imagined, is angry. There always will be. Mm-hmm. That is a chaotic, energetic force that is always there for the use of those who wish to play the game in a certain way. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, you're going to find people who are looking to act out because they're angry. They may not know what they're angry about, or they may have an idea that may have some truth in it or none at all. But those people are ready for somebody to tell them a story about why they're angry that sounds very compelling, mm-hmm. and then to participate in whatever action they are told addresses that story. And so I think we always have to be concerned that somebody is going to figure out how to take this random explosive force and put it in a cylinder and turn it into, energy to drive us somewhere.
Yes.
And this does feel an awful lot like that. I feel like we are being frog marched towards an event that is supposed to remind us of Kent State. Mm-hmm. That will have a very different explanation. In mm-hmm. Kent State, you had students protesting an unjust war. In this case, this story doesn't add up. You have, Americans at the state level opposing the enforcement of border policy and deportations at the federal level. And that is at least a complicated story. It's not a simple, here are the good guys and you're deporting them. You've got a lot of people who broke the law. I'm sure some of them are just looking for a better life, and some of them aren't. But anybody who thinks it's a simple matter of we should oppose federal deportations and enforcement of border policy has lost the plot.
Well, the plot has become engineered so that it is easy to lose.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
I am not trying to give a pass to the people who are actively losing the plot as chaos agents, but it is harder and harder to figure out what is going on.
The plot has been greased.
Okay, so this is where all the oil went.
Yes,
the
exactly.
The machine that needed the oil didn't have the oil, and it's moved over.
Plot has been
space.
greased and is now easily lost. Yes.
Yeah.